When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do meaningful work every day. You get to be the biker who codes as fast as he rides, crafting advanced tech solutions that transform car buying. Or a guitarist who develops harmonious apps and websites, connecting people and businesses, all in real time. A savvy soccer mom running solution sets as passionately as she runs gameplays. Be the super secret keeper, designing cybersecurity systems to protect private data and websites. A planet protector, expanding EV battery life and inventing more ways to build a better future for all. When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do career-defining work that solves the greatest problems of our time. Join us and connect to work that improves lives, including yours. Learn more about our family of businesses at cox.career/tech.
Oh, sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready. No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense. I'm your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. It's a difficult task, but I think I'm up to it today. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to support the show, well, it's not that hard. Go to Reaver.one and click on the shop button. All right. Oh, yeah, today we will be giving out some breaking news on the show. You're going to have to wait. Yes. I ain't going to give it out now. I'm not that much of a cheap date. Come on. Can't expect me to give it up that quick. Got to do a little whining and dining. Well, we got some breaking news for the show. And it's actually some pretty good news. I'm pretty happy about it. And for those that don't know, there's a lot of changes coming to SHR. A lot of good. Not going to say any that it's bad. Some will be missed. And we got some new coming in. But we'll talk about it later. I can't give it out now. I can't give up the goods. Come on. All I can say is, I got some big news. Some big news about the show that will be coming up later. I'll decide when. I'm not sure. Could be in 5 minutes. Could be after an hour. I don't know. You never know with me. You never know. Oh, boy. So, it's actually a little bit of a calm weekend, I would have to say. Kind of stayed away from the news, but it wasn't mass hysteria that I heard. It was kind of reaver.com. I saw one little bit before coming on the show. Trump was bending over and bowing to the Saudis. Oh, God. Please. Make it stop with these idiots. I'm serious. Make it stop. They're just desperation. Trying to make anything out of nothing. So, they gave Trump an award. And it's this big medallion-looking thing. And he's taller than everybody else, so he bends over a little bit so they could put the medal on him. So, of course, these liberals think, oh my God, he's bending over, he's bowing. Unlike what jackass Obama has done repeatedly. How many times did he bend over? Holy for holies. Yeah. That man bent over every chance he got. Trump's gone there, projected strength. And that's the thing. Democrats don't know what strength is because, well, they haven't had a leader in a while. They had a bunch of idiots running around like a chicken with its head cut off. It's almost hysterical if it wasn't so sickening. Seriously, I mean, it's almost... Whew. They're just... They don't know what the hell to do.
When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do meaningful work every day. You get to be the biker who codes as fast as he rides, crafting advanced tech solutions that transform car buying. Or a guitarist who develops harmonious apps and websites, connecting people to people and businesses, all in real time. A savvy soccer mom running solution sets as passionately as she runs gameplays. Be the super secret keeper, designing cybersecurity systems to protect private data and websites. A planet protector, expanding EV battery life and inventing more ways to build a better future for all. When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do career-defining work that solves the greatest problems of our time. Join us and connect to work that improves lives, including yours. Learn more about our family of businesses at cox.career/tech.
Seriously, they don't know what to do. They're besides themselves. Man, they almost sound like they've literally lost their minds. They've come unhinged, the Democrats have. I'm going to jump on this, but where's that article? I'm jumping ahead on what I was going to do. Oh, this is funny. I came across another article. Let's hit this one real quick because the Republicans are facing violence, death threats from the left-wing activists. The Republicans going home to talk to their constituents are facing violence and death threats, with some lawmakers upping security at town hall events. A consequence of a culture of violence being fostered by left-wing activists and their allies in the liberal media. One Republican, he was requiring people to show their ID to show that they were in that district. They lived in that district. And a liberal media asshole was like, what, you don't want other people? He's like, no, I answer to these people. We don't need to have liberals bussing in professional agitators from other areas. Well, they have a right to ask you questions. Well, they can go ask their representative their questions. The Democrats are bussing in professional agitators to just cause all sorts of hell at these town halls. But in the lead up to the passage of Obamacare in 2010, conservatives were vocal at town halls and other forums in their opposition of the law. Yet despite a great deal of speculation and fear-mongering by the media, town hall events were almost entirely free of violence or threats of harm. As the Democrats seek to mirror that opposition against President Trump and the Republican health care bill, the same commitment to nonviolence is not there. Using similar tactics to, the anti-fascist activists opposing conservative speakers on college campuses, some anti-Trump activists are disrupting events and even resorting to threats and acts of violence. This is unacceptable, people. A man was arrested last week for threatening Representative Martha Mescali. That's real. That's standing up for women. See, the left can say and do whatever they want, and it's okay. They can attack a woman, and it's okay. If a Republican responds to a female, oh, it's the war on women. Freaking, oh my God. There was a voicemail left telling her that her days were numbered because of her support for the president. The Arizona Republic reported that her district is one of the most entirely divided in the nation. But the threats are especially disturbing as she represents the district, represented by former Democrat Representative Gabby Gifford, who was shot in the head in 2011. McSally faced one of the most extreme crowds at a town hall in February where she was heckled as activists carried signs saying, "Sorry, Trump's crusade of hate," and "No, this fascist regime must be stopped before it starts." Some threats alleged from Steve Martin, who was arrested by the FBI, say, "Martha, our sights are set on you right between your explosive eyes and can't wait to blank pull the trigger blank," according to the Republic. This month, a woman was arrested after she allegedly attempted to drive Representative Dave Kutzoff, a Republican from Tennessee, off the road over his support of the Republican health care bill after an event. When the car stopped, she is alleged to have attacked the car, hitting the window and reaching inside the car. She was arrested after she bragged about it on Facebook. While attempting to dismiss as one-off incidents, the threats and attacks come amid a backdrop of a culture of violence amongst the left. Riots, once a rare occurrence in America, now seem commonplace from leftist thugs in the era of Trump. Hundreds of people were arrested for rioting on Trump's inauguration day alone. The college campuses have seen threats and violence should they dare to invite a conservative speaker onto campus. Proof? It wasn't violent. Notre Dame. They invited Vice President Pence to come speak. A couple dozen students got up and walked out of their graduation. How fucking retarded do you have to be? And again, I don't make fun of people with handicaps. They're courageous. They overcome. These people choose to do stupid stuff. You're going to ruin your graduation because of one speaker, because you don't agree with what he has to say. Try doing that at work, getting up and leaving because you don't like what your boss has to say, and see how that goes. I'm sure Your boss will love that.
When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do meaningful work every day. You get to be the biker who codes as fast as he rides, crafting advanced tech solutions that transform car buying. Or a guitarist who develops harmonious apps and websites, connecting people and businesses, all in real time. A savvy soccer mom running solution sets as passionately as she runs gameplays. Be the super secret keeper, designing cybersecurity systems to protect private data and websites. A planet protector, expanding EV battery life and inventing more ways to build a better future for all. When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do career-defining work that solves the greatest problems of our time. Join us and connect to work that improves lives, including yours. Learn more about our family of businesses at cox.career/tech.
I'm sure you'll have a job. Oh, these snowflakes just keeps getting better. Better and better. But this has even been promoted to an extent by some liberal media outlets, in addition to the general hysteria and misinformation being pushed by some outlets, such as the false claim spread by a number of outlets that the health care reform bill would make sexual assault a pre-existing condition. There have been outright calls for harassment. 2 days before the attack of Cutoff, a May 10th opinion piece by Michelangelo something for Huffington Post told readers it's time to move past beyond polite protest within specified boundaries. It's time to escalate the expression of an outrage and our anger in a massive way. Starting today and from here on, no elected official, certainly those in the GOP defending and supporting Trump on a variety of issues, for example, should be able to sit down for a nice, quiet lunch or dinner in a Washington, D.C. eatery, or even in their homes. They should be hounded by protesters everywhere, especially in public, in restaurants, in shopping centers, in their district, and yes, on the public property, outside their homes and apartments in Washington and back in their home state. A day later, a man at a town hall meeting put his hands on Representative Kevin Cramer, a Republican from North Dakota, and tried to stuff money into his blazer to protest his support of the health care bill. The protester, Mike Quinn, was then written about sympathetically by the Washington Post, which made much of his subsequent apology to Cramer, but included this frightening quote from Quinn. I was out of my mind with anger for a few minutes there. They can't control themselves like adults. That is something that's a little scary. They can't control themselves like adults. Then maybe they shouldn't be allowed out on the streets like adults. It's that simple. If you can't act like an adult, maybe you should be grounded to your room. It is honestly scary, people. They don't care the who, the what, the when, the where, or the how, or the why. We're going down a path that is not a good path to go. And they don't seem to care. They're taking us down a path of violence. And then they sit back and act like they're the victims of it all. Problem is, people are watching. People are paying attention. They're not stupid. The American people. This is one of the reasons Trump got elected. It's because of hysteria like this. They don't want any part of it. They're tired of it. And they don't understand it. They don't comprehend that the American people are tired and the American people are seeing through this charade. Now, the article goes on to say, understandably, it now seems Republican lawmakers are taking precautions. The Hill reports that after a catalog of violence and threats, many GOP lawmakers are fearing for their safety at town halls, and some are upping security in response. Representative Tom Garrett, a Republican from Virginia, increased security at a town hall event after he received a number of death threats online. Threats deemed credible and real by authorities. Dissident is American. Praise God. We need that. That's what made us who we are. But when it's, I'm going to kill you this way, then I'm going to kill your wife. This is what I'm going to do to your daughter. I'm not going to share it, Garrett told the Roanoke Times. In its report documenting the threat, the Hill reported that often it isn't the lawmakers themselves that get the threats, but members of their families. There was a young daughter, for instance, of Representative Jeff Fortensbury, a Republican from Nebraska, who found a sign on the family lawn. Traitors put party above country, do the right thing for once, shithead. Now, if you take a look, and you pay attention, Democrats are the worst offender of putting party above country. Like I've said many a times, when the Democrats go accusing, look behind the curtain, because that's exactly what they're doing. And they don't like people crossing over into their territory. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. And we will be back. We got big news today, people. Big news.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplains.dailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cat for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guy. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeovers here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I remember coming up probably at noontime, which is in about approximately 35 minutes, I will be announcing big news with the show. Got big changes coming up. Big plans. Big plans. Huge plans. So, stay tuned. Find out what they are. Find out what's changing. I think it's some good news. I'm going to like it.
When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do meaningful work every day. You get to be the biker who codes as fast as he rides, crafting advanced tech solutions that transform car buying. Or a guitarist who develops harmonious apps and websites, connecting people to people and businesses, all in real time. A savvy soccer mom running solution sets as passionately as she runs gameplays. Be the super secret keeper, designing cybersecurity systems to protect private data and websites. A planet protector, expanding EV battery life and inventing more ways to build a better future for all. When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do career-defining work that solves the greatest problems of our time. Join us and connect to work that improves lives, including yours. Learn more about our family of businesses at cox.career/tech.
Oh, so actually, you know what? I originally was... I have no idea who that is. All right, let me see. This was hysterical. This was hysterical. Let me see if I can pull up the video on this and play the audio from it. Chris Cuomo from, CNN, New Day. Oh, my God. So he argued with Representative Sean Duffy. They went back and forth. And, Duffy says there's no evidence of collusion. Well, Chris Cuomo wants Duffy to prove that there's no evidence of any collusion. He said there's no proof that there's no proof of no evidence. So now, in this jackass's eyes, in the United States, you're guilty until you're proven innocent. I know some ways that we're like that, but this one's to a new level. It is for the accuser to prove their charges that Trump is colluding with Russia. It is not on us to prove there is no proof. All right, let me cue this up. This is... That's right. Did I think I did that. Yes, I did. Love talking to myself.
With Mr. Mueller. It's going to happen. I think he'll do a good job.
You make a lot of points there that deserve consideration, Congressman. First of all, I hope that you would have the same perspective on so many members of your party who say that there's no evidence of collusion, because we both know as attorneys it is naive at best to suggest we could know. We don't know what the FBI has or what they don't have now in the hands of Bob Mueller. And to suggest that this relatively early in an investigation for the FBI, they often look at things for years, that they should know.
This early in the investigation, it's been going on 6 fucking months. And this is what they want. They want to drag this out. They want to drag this out as long as they can.
No, or they should have told people what they have and the proof should be out there. That's equally deceptive, don't you think?
So again, I'm not buying into the fact that there was any collusion between President Trump and Russia.
But you can't know whether there was or not. That's my point. How do you know there was none? How do you know that there was? You can't know. You don't know the proof.
But Chris, I agree with you, but you don't know that either. And we're running, I mean, the cable news networks are, aflame of running stories about collusion between Trump and Russia, and you don't know, and I don't know that.
Right, but it's equally wrong. If you don't like that some media, and I know you're not talking about us, because you know I've never front-run it, but if you don't like that people are artificially saying there was collusion, to say artificially that there was no collusion is equally wrong, right? You're not being better in that situation. You're being a manifestation of the same problem.
What I think is happening is there's a conversation about collusion. And my point is there's no evidence of collusion. What I do
we
know,
don't know what the evidence is. Why do you think you would know if there's evidence of collusion? Why would you?
They would have come out and said, we got proof.
Washington is leaking like a sieve. There is no secrets. President Trump can't have a conversation with the president of Mexico without it being leaked. There can't be a conversation with a foreign diplomat without that conversation being leaked. There are no secrets. And whether it's the conversations that Flynn had, that information was unmasked and leaked. Leaks everywhere. If there was evidence, if there was information about Donald Trump colluding with the Russians, I have every confidence that that would have been leaked to the press and you would have been able to run with that story, because everything has been leaked. There are no secrets. There are no secrets. There are no private conversations. And that's why I have some pause.
You can have pause. You can have pause. There's every reason for pause because it's an unknown. I'm just saying it's such a gross assumption that you're making. Because it didn't leak, we should assume it's not true. However, when information does leak, you question it because it was leaked. I mean, don't you see the politics at play in that?
No, I'm going to take a step back. You have no evidence of that there was collusion or there wasn't collusion. There's no evidence to either of our sides.
No, that's not accurate. We don't know. What I'm saying is I don't know what they have. You're saying, but
they have nothing. They would have came out by now.
That's what you're saying.
Okay, so there is no public information right now about collusion between Donald Trump and the Russians, right?
I say that's a fair statement. Some people will argue otherwise, but I take your point.
But I would say, what is the evidence? I haven't seen any evidence to
right,
that
and
fact
I'm
between
saying
Trump and,
that absence.
and
Russia. You know the old notion from Barry Scheck when it came to DNA evidence. Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. Remember, we all had to try to figure out what that means. And the point of it ultimately winds up being just because we don't know doesn't mean you should assume the negative. That it must not exist because I don't know about it yet. The investigation's ongoing. Isn't respecting the process?
No, it's saying there's no evidence right now. There's no evidence. If there was evidence, we would know about it.
Or a consumer of news, I don't think that point has been made. And I think you're making a reasonable point that I don't know. But I think if I listen to different panels on different networks, I think the...
Let's see. Schumer, no evidence, has said. He had outright said that he has not seen any evidence. Feinstein, no evidence. Schiffer, no evidence. Pelosi, no evidence. Maxine Waters, no evidence. They've all said there is no evidence of collusion. But because this jackass wants to make a story, well, we don't have proof there's no evidence.
The drumbeat is there must be something there. There's got to be evidence. There's collusion. Why are people talking about impeachment? I've heard the impeachment story for days, Chris. It's because there would have been evidence of collusion between President Trump and the Russians. And you just pointed out and agree with me that we haven't seen any evidence thus far publicly to that fact. So why is there a drumbeat of impeachment?
Politics. And what I'm saying is it's equally egregious to assume... That narrative. I'm saying it's equally egregious. Yeah, but you're feeding the opposite narrative, which I'm saying is symptomatic of the same problem of politics. That's all. I think they're equal. I think they're equally egregious. Saying that there should be an impeachment when you don't know the proof is the same as saying, well, there'll never be anything wrong because there is no proof. Because they're both based in ignorance.
I don't want to go.
Nobody said that nothing about the ever. They said right now there is no evidence.
Talk about that evidence. I think the news media and Democrats are jumping the gun, and they're talking about impeachment, and they're talking about collusion when we don't have any evidence. It could be there, but no public evidence exists to that point right now. And I think that point should readily be made not only by all politicians, but all news outlets, because it doesn't exist. It could come, and I would love to have that conversation.
Don't say it doesn't exist. Just say we don't know. And would you also agree that calling it a witch hunt and a hoax at this point is also wrong?
But you're splicing my words in that there's no public evidence today. We don't have any public evidence. There could be private evidence. There's no public evidence.
Right.
So you don't have any,
but it's
and
an
I don't
ongoing
have any. That's
investigation.
The point that I'm making.
I'm just saying I've never heard you make that point about any other investigation. If an investigation's ongoing, you don't question what you know or don't know.
When there was evidence point, there's no evidence, there's no evidence, there's no evidence.
Is to find out.
The Democrats and the liberal media bang that drum.
In either way.
They bang that drum about Hillary. Now, oh my God.
But I'm not. You are, I'm not. That's the difference. I'm saying we don't know. You're saying there's no proof of collusion, so there must be none. No, those are very different positions.
I'm not saying there's no collusion. I'm saying I don't think there's any collusion based on what I've seen.
What's the difference? There's no collusion. I don't think there's no collusion. Both one is based without any evidence.
We'll move on this point, I'm sure.
All right.
But
anyway,
your network is running the stories nonstop, and
they're asking the questions.
You don't have any.
No, they're not asking the questions. They're saying it happened.
I'm just saying I don't know what they have, and that's why calling it a hoax and a witch hunt is equally egregious as saying it's a home run for impeachment.
Okay. I look at this point. We'll agree to have semantic conversations here.
No, I don't think it's semantic. And Congressman, look, I appreciate your perspective on this. You're right that there are politics at play. I'm just saying, got to call it on both sides. That's all. I appreciate you making the case. As always, you're always welcome here. You are a fair broker.
If there was any evidence, you would have heard Schumer out there beating the drum. You would hear Pelosi, Maxine Waters. There is no evidence. I'll say it. There's no evidence. The drum beating is so tiresome. Hello, Cal. And to sit there and say, well, there's no evidence that there's no evidence. Oh! So now we got to assume everybody's guilty. They didn't feel that way when Hillary was being investigated, did they? Oh, no. Proof that she lied multiple times. Oh, no. We'll come up with every bullshit. No, you did not miss the announcement yet. Hillary, facts be damned, she was innocent. Trump, hysteria, that's the way we're going. Facts be damned again. All right. I'll repeat it again. But I guess I can give the announcement now. Now that Kel's here. There's a lot of changes going on at SHR Media right now. Some good, some bad. And I don't know all the semantics of what's going on with everything. So I'm not going to get into any of that. But I know Ken the Conservative is parting ways with SHR Media. He's going on his way right now. Which that then leaves a time slot of 9 to 11, the prime time. I got a phone call the other day from Sackhead Sean. And we talked. I thought about it. The Reaver of Common Sense show will be moving as of January 3rd to 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to nighttime, prime time. Now, that also means, I'll be opening it up Tuesday and Thursday for BZ's. I keep forgetting. For his show. Wednesday, I'll be opening up for the Sackheads radio show. But yes, I will be getting the prime time number one slot on SHR Media and HP Pundit. The 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Monday through Friday. No, not January. Did I say January? I meant July. July 3rd, I'll be taking over that time slot. I wish Ken all the best. July. Better be July. Now you're going to make me check with Sean whether it's June or July. But that's the big news. The show's moving to the nighttime slot, which opens up a lot more possibilities. Yeah, July 3rd. Opens up a lot more possibility. Also allows some call-ins from a lot of people. And one of the main ones, it allows Crash to be able to call in more often, as he will be out of work and be able to call in and jump into the conversation. And it just seems like a better fit to go at nighttime with my mouth. So I look forward to it. It's going to be a big change, and I'm going to miss the daytime. I will, but I think it's going to open it up better for the show in the long run. So I'll keep promoting it until I switch. Now, where are we? And it'll make it easier for you, Kel, won't it? All right, let's see where we're at. I mean, Chris Cuomo, Jesus. There has to be proof that there's no proof now. How do you disprove a negative? And that's what Democrats love to do. They want you to disprove a negative and chase that tail. Republicans, for a long time, have been doing that. Chasing that negative. And what makes Donald Trump so successful is he thumbs his nose up at the air and just answers it and goes on. He does not chase that tail. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. We will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplains.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. You didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. I just noticed while I was listening to the promos playing, I got to do a bunch of new promos now. I got to change times and all that. And unfortunately, one bad thing about the switching the time frame is the Southside Much Show will be ending. We'll be hanging that one up. So a little bit of bad with a little bit of good. It's the greatest show on earth has shut down after 146 years. I cannot believe that. These nut job animal groups just kept picking away. And it got to the point nobody wants to go because everything everybody wanted to go see, we're gone. They're taking away the elephants, the lions, the tigers, and bears. Oh, my. This is what's funny. These animal rights groups don't understand. These animals are treated so great. It's not like years before where they're mistreated. These owners understand nowadays that these animals are, number one, if not treated right, they got to spend more money to get new animals. And that's loss of profit. They understand a happy animal makes for a good exhibit. And on top of it, it allows studies to be done on these animals so that we could better understand them, so we can help them in the wild more. It opens up conservation. It opens up people's eyes to see animals they may not have seen before. They think just because, oh my God, we got them in captivity. Oh, it's evil. There was I think it was a zoo or some kind of conservation group. And they had 3 elephants, I believe it was, coming in. And these activists were protesting. And the guy that bought them, this millionaire, goes out there and says, fine. You want me to give them up? They're like, yeah. He goes, you do understand I bought these 3 elephants. They're being mistreated, and they were going to be put down by the owners. They were going to kill them. So instead, I went in and I bought them. They can't be released back into the wild, so I thought I would bring them to my zoo and allow them to live a nice life instead of being killed. So I'll send them back, and they'll be killed. And all of a sudden, you saw them do it. Oh, no, bring them in, we'll help you. A lot of them are doing it because these animals can't be released back into the wild. They can't go back. They won't live. So, yes, we put them in zoos. It helps us study, understand how to take care of them. And as I said, open eyes to everybody else to open their minds about how to treat animals. These animal rights groups are so close-minded and got blinders on anymore. Their original ideas were good, but they got so blinded by it. How do we know how to take care of orcas and understand orcas? From SeaWorld and all the work they've done. And many ocean animals through SeaWorld. There's a group, Ocean Reach. They had a television show. They go out, they catch great whites. And I'm talking great whites. Those big mamma jammas. They hook them. They pull them up onto a lift where their ship is. And they lift these several-ton creatures out of the water. And you're talking 14, 15, 16, 18-foot great whites, males, females. And they have a time frame. They bring them up, they tag them. They have a couple special tags that they put on that won't hurt them. They take blood, they take measurements, they identify. If it's a male, they take sperm samples. And then what do? They release that great white. And they have like a 12-minute time frame that they could have to do all this. And I've watched them as they had one shark that was not responding properly. And the guy stayed with this great white on the lift. Now, it was lowered into the water for it to swim off. And it wasn't acting right, so they stayed with the great white. They put themselves in so much danger to care for that great white. And it swam off after a while. Now, the studies that are happening because of that, we're able to track some of them, and we're understanding their patterns, where they go, so they're able to start setting up conservation areas that bans certain things from happening in those areas to try to help them. Why? Because these guys go out of their way. And they've been there's animal rights groups that are trying to shut them down left, right, and center. Because, God, they're being so vicious to them. They got the blinders on. They don't see the good that they're doing. Now, I hear it all the time how hunters, it's a mean thing, and they just want to go out and kill, kill, kill. I don't know of anybody in my circles of travel that is a sports hunter. I probably would never associate with a sports hunter. I think it's disgusting and appalling. If you're not going to use it, don't kill it. Hell, I go so far as I'm redoing some of my flowers out front. And as I dig these flowers up that I don't want, I'm trying to give them away so as to not even kill the flowers for no reason. I get tired of the stigmas because the only thing the left has anymore, the only thing they have is to give these false stigmas, to lie. Because if everybody knew the truth, what they were up to, nobody would back them. Nobody would vote for them. It's... And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. But what I'm seeing right now is people are getting tired of the bullshit that's going on with the Democrat Party. They've gone so extreme. They got a fringe group left supporting them. And that's it. A fringe group. Most of the other people have walked away. Which could be very damaging to the Democrat Party come November 2018. Because they're going to have to push a bunch of lies. And one of the lies is, look, Trump didn't get anything through. That's why they're doing all this bullshit. To slow down, to make sure and try to stop anything from passing, anything from happening. But I think a lot of people are going to be looking and seeing and remembering what the Democrats did. Economy's turned around something fierce. Jobs, people are getting back to work. Jobs are opening up. Is it 100% Trump? Nah, it isn't. I was told about a year before the election by someone I know, very successful in business, multi-million-dollar company. And he said he knows there's going to be, right after election, no matter who it wins, Democrat or Republican, the job market's going to open up. Companies are going to start spending money. They did not trust Obama. They did not like what he was doing. And they weren't going to make money for him to make him look successful. Or whatever their reasoning was. I think if Hillary was elected, they would not be spending the money. But I was told, and that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of jobs opening up, companies expanding. You get rid of Obamacare and the requirements, and you're going to see more jobs. It sucks that you can't expand your business because it would break you. You could afford to expand your business, but the health care would break you. It's... I don't know. All right, Greg Gutfeld, which I don't dislike the guy. I'm not a huge fan of his. He's not my cup of tea. I'll just put it that way. But in his monologue the other night, Greg Gutfeld said that President Trump's missteps are human and not a result of political bent. He went on to say that Trump was never before engaged in politics, spending all of his life as a private sector businessman and citizen. Regarding the reports that Trump disclosed classified information to Russia and envoy, Gutfeld said it is what humans do to create a friendly bond. They gossip. And now, what's funny is I could show you articles from CNN and others before Trump had that meeting where they're talking about the exact same intel in the news. There was nothing breaking, nothing extravagant that wasn't already out there for the conversations that he had. When he allegedly told former FBI Director James Comey to give General Michael Flynn a break, Gutfeld said that Trump was displaying loyalty to a friend, not trying to play politics. Trump's not a Beltway pro. He's a salesman from Queen. He could sell cooties to a 6-year-old. And if those were the words that he used, the ones that are in that memo, he did not try to obstruct. He did not tell Comey to stop. He did not threaten his job. None of that. He said, possibly. Would you not? Or would you drop? That's not an order. That's a discussion, a request. The Democrats are trying to make a mountain out of molehill when I don't even think there is a molehill. And then you have Gutfeld said Trump's previous life experience appears to dictate how he operates now that he is in politics. What's discussed behind closed door? Trump says to your face, of course I gave money to the Democrats. ISIS, blow the shit out of them. Trump, and I was just talking about it a little bit ago, he doesn't stay on the negative. He understands you can't disprove it. You go on from it. And you go from there. Just as we're going to go to break. And you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio. And we will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense Hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cop for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. Well, I know I let the cat out of the bag earlier, but I told a lot of people I would wait till afternoon time, so I'll tell it again. Starting July 3rd, that's July 3rd, the Reaver of Common Sense show will be moving to 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit. It is an honor, and I'm absolutely joyous that they even thought of me and asked me to take that spot. Ecstatic. So, we'll be switching on July 3rd, which will be a Monday, to 9 p.m. I got big shoes to fill. The heck? There's a step on Mount Everest that's known as the Hillary Step, and it's collapsed. Oh, sorry, I think that's funny. I got to play this. Carl Tuckerson, this guy's, it's hysterical the way he handles these Democrats. This is to a Democrat who wants to impeach Trump.
Even before the announcement of the new special counsel, a bunch of Democrats were declaring it was time to talk impeachment for President Trump. Watch.
I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to call for the impeachment of the President of the United States of America.
I think this is going to put us a little bit further on our way to what I've been calling for so long, and that is impeachment. Thank you.
Of course, the left has been demanding Trump's impeachment since before he became the president. I think it was the week he announced they started calling for it. But now they think he really deserves it. Crystal Ball is a former Democratic congressional candidate and works at the New Leaders Council, a progressive organization. She says it's time to impeach Trump. Crystal Ball joins us tonight. Crystal, you still think it's time, even after the appointment of this special counsel?
Yeah, absolutely, which I welcome. I think it's a great move. I think it will help bring some clarity and give us a sense that we were actually going to get to the truth of what happened between Russia and our democracy and the president's campaign. But it doesn't change the things that the president has already done. And look, a couple things. You can absolutely think Dems have been hysterical from the beginning. You can think
I do think that.
Okay, that's fine. I knew that you did.
Yes.
You can think that this president has good intentions and still look at the facts here and say he is unfit for this office and is incapable of faithfully executing office.
Those are fairly subjective judgments, so subjective, and you can make a case for them.
Sure.
But they're so subjective, we don't typically take away the office of an elected leader on the basis of things that subjective. That would be known, I think, as a coup.
Well,
right? So don't we wait for the evidence of a crime, or as the Constitution puts it, a high crime and misdemeanor, before we convict someone? Isn't that what justice is?
Well, let's put Russia in a separate category in terms of the investigation that's going on there. We already know that this president kept Michael Flynn in office even after he knew he had been compromised by the Russians. We already know that he tried to obstruct justice and put pressure on James Comey.
Even compromised by the Russians? In what way?
Well, in the way that Sally Yates talked about, that he was lying about the conversations that he'd had with the Russian ambassador.
Okay, but how was he compromised?
Because I think that to blackmail him.
I think the Justice Department, the FBI, didn't the FBI, I think Comey said this, looked into the substance of his conversations with Kislyak and decided it was, not such a big deal. It was the lying to Mike Pence that made his boss mad.
Well, it's the lying that compromised him because they could use that as blackmail. That's the whole idea there. So that's one piece. Another piece
I'm just
is
interested, what were they going to blackmail him to do exactly?
Well, because he was lying, they could hold that over his head.
And get him to do what?
But moving forward from that one, if you disagree
I don't know. You're making the allegation. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
people throw these things around. He could be compromised like he's a Cold War spy or something.
But because they know that they've caught him in a lie. So that's
Talk
something
about
you
reaching
can hold over their head
and not being able to explain
whatever. He was a top national security advisor. He had access to our most sensitive information. So that's an example where I don't think that you can say the president was faithfully executing.
Do you think that Mike Flynn, whatever his faults, would have funneled national security information, American secrets, to the Russian government?
I have no idea. I've never met
Do you think he's
Mike
capable
Flynn.
of that?
But I think it's a bad situation
he ran
to have
an
your
intelligence
national security
agency
advisor
for Barack Obama.
lying about what he said and did with the Russians. So that's one example. Another example is what's come out reportedly about the president's conversations with the Russians in the Oval Office and the fact that
just to be clear, you think that because Mike Flynn lied to the vice president, Trump should be impeached?
I think that's one example that he kept him in office. Another example is requiring Jim Comey to pledge an oath of loyalty.
If you catch someone lying in your office and you don't fire him immediately, though he did actually fire him like 2 days later.
If that person is compromised by our adversary.
But he did fire him in the end. So wouldn't that exculpate him?
After it came to the public light.
This is almost funny.
For quite a while. So in addition to that, there's revealing.
I'm a fan of yours, but this is a little crazy. You got to. I mean, a little bit. I mean, you're mad because he lied and Trump didn't fire him, but Trump actually did fire him. But Trump needs to be impeached because he didn't fire him fast enough.
Because he left him in office. I'm trying to go through.
No, I know. I'm just trying to. Look, people throw this stuff around, and I just want to get specific about it because I don't know what some of it means. But now I know what you're saying.
So mad because
He revealed
lied.
sensitive information to the Russians in the Oval Office.
And
now,
he was fired for it.
You think that he, again, was good-intentioned, that he didn't really think about what he was doing, about the laptop plot and the city, and compromised our intelligence sharing with a very important ally.
Do we know that? We know the nature of the information?
Well, we know some nature of that information.
Because the people and every person in the room who has spoken...
That could have been an important clue for Russia. Okay? Again, you don't have to believe this is part of a sinister plot.
I'm not even suggesting a sinister plot because I'm not a Democrat. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of what the allegation is. So nobody who was actually in the room who has spoken has said that Trump...
No, SNL's not this funny.
He can be, for sure. But gave...
it's oh my God
information to the Russians. No one who was actually physically present has said that.
And it's an anonymous source that can't confirm anything that was said.
We have multiple news organizations reporting that he gave up an important piece of information about the city where this intelligence came from.
That doesn't make it fact. Just because several newspapers have reported it does not make it fact.
Share intelligence with you, which makes our people less.
Israel has said that?
Other allies have said that. Reportedly.
Really, which ones?
European allies, they weren't specific, but that is the news report.
Okay.
So the news are making, again, blanket statements that they can't back up.
And the president, for sure, to say something he shouldn't say. He does that a lot. But you're talking about impeaching a democratically elected president, removing him from office in a trial, convicting him of a crime on the basis of no actual evidence. Like you have a Washington Post piece, which may be true, but at this stage we don't have that evidence, but you want to impeach him anyway.
And then you have the latest memos regarding James Comey and the pressure that was put on him and in terms of the investigation with Michael Flynn. And look, Tucker, let's keep in mind,
why would that be an
you're talking about
offense?
How serious this
There's no proof that Trump actually said those things.
Right.
That's a memo that Comey wrote.
The presidency is.
Oh my
God! This is not some VP of marketing that we got to give him a shot.
I'm not making the case.
This person is fundamentally unfit for the presidency?
We don't have to wait at all because we have things called elections where the voters get to decide. Not the Center for American Progress. Well, you know what? I know we grow impatient in this internet age, but the truth is, unless you want to undo the democracy you claim to defend, you got to slow down with this stuff and say we're going to pull.
All they have is hearsay and conjecture from newspapers, from sources that can't be confirmed, and now articles are being written by people they don't know who's writing them with unverified sources. Nothing that has been written by the New York Times or the Washington Post has been or can be verified.
I don't care what your party idea is. I want to know what the facts are. I want to know what's reasonable and true. And I just think it's pretty over the top to call for impeachment with no actual evidence of a crime. That's all I'm saying.
So let's say that everything that's been reported is true, that he really did try to pressure Comey. Would then you think that it was an impeachable offense?
If it could be shown that this or any other president tried to commit obstruction of justice, that is without question an impeachable offense, and it ought to be pursued.
Do you think what's been reported about pressure on Comey with regards to Michael
But
Flynn,
Comey also testified in front of the Senate. Hold on.
To the top law enforcement officer at the FBI, and so presumably if he thought it constituted obstruction of justice, he would have reported it to the Justice Department as required by law, and he didn't. So, I'm just saying, you can criticize Trump, but to call for his removal from office is a really big deal, and I think we're throwing it around a little cavalierly.
So you don't think that would be obstruction of justice?
I'm saying
or
hard break.
His loyalty.
And he brought it up. If Comey thought he was obstructing justice and he was trying to pressure him, why didn't Comey speak up before he was fired? If he's such a stand-up guy and for justice, why didn't he speak up when it happened in February? Why did he wait 3 months after he was fired to speak up? Someone explain that to me. Someone explain how a piece of paper of Comey writing something about what somebody else said is fact. I could write on a piece of paper that I talked to Mr. Comey and he said he's a princess by night and superhero by day. Does that make it fact? No. No one has seen these memos, which can be now written at any time. Those memos, this person said such and such. And any court that is called hearsay, it would be thrown out. There is no facts, no evidence. How about the fact that Hillary lied? Fact. She knew it was a terrorist attack. She told the public, she told the families that it was because of a video. Fact. She knew they were under attack and did not send any backup. Fact. Hillary got subpoenaed about her private server to turn over emails. Fact. She deleted those emails after being subpoenaed. I can go on and on and on where Democrats have turned their back on facts and now want to go with conjecture and rumors. Every person that was in the room with Trump and the Russian ambassador said nothing, no top secret information was revealed. I could show you articles that talked about the laptop bombing from like 2 months ago. Why? Because my daughter's getting ready to fly out in another month. And we didn't know she was going to be allowed to bring her tablet with her where she could do some reading. It was a discussion this weekend. So I looked it up, and I kept getting articles from MSNBC, CNN from 2 months ago. Month ago. Before Trump talked to the ambassador of Russia. It was not top secret that was going on. Israel came out after being outed by New York Times. New York Times outed Israel as the source of that information. New York Times is now publishing articles from people they don't even know who they are. They can't confirm the information. High Plains Pundit put it best. He put it best when he said that New York Times and Washington Post are now on the level with the National Enquirer. And as Dan the Man put it, that's insulting the National Enquirer. They got more integrity than New York Times or Washington Post. All the two do is, it seems, make up stories to cover up anything else from being talked about. Yeah, Russia did warn us about the Boston bombers via its intel, and Obama ignored it. Beat you to it. It's absolutely ridiculous. Leaders exchange, and Trump can declassify and classify information. He didn't break any laws. He didn't break any rules. They're trying to make something out of nothing because they have nothing. How about the fact the House representative on the House floor calling for Trump to be impeached and accusing Trump of crimes, which is against the rules on the House floor. But, of course, the Democrats do whatever they want, say whatever they want. And the Republicans are quiet. You have little Marco out there running his mouth, of course. You have McCain out there. Graham. But they're not backing Trump. They're running their mouth. Little Marco, that little slime ball scumbag. When he was running against Trump, Trump was the worst person. When little Marco decided to run for Senate again, Oh, Trump's his good friend now. Little scumbag gets reelected, and now he stabs Trump in the back and talks a lot of shit. I'm embarrassed to have him as my representative, but the other choice was worse. Except in the primary. I wish we would have primaried this little Marco and sent him packing so he could switch over to the Democrat Party. I'm tired of all this. The impeachment drum. And actually, I should shut up because it's actually kind of funny because what they're doing by screaming impeachment, they're drumming up the Republican Party. They're giving the Republican Party a campaigning solution. Because we won the presidency, usually that party becomes a little lax on the next election. And the opposing party usually is pissed off and is able to take control. But with these idiots running around, running their mouth, and Democrat leadership have told them to shut their mouth on the impeachment talk because it's giving power to the Republicans. The Republicans can now campaign saying if they take control, they're going to impeach Trump. Hell or high water, they'll get rid of him. You got to come vote. And it's going to bring the Republicans out in droves to keep the Democrats from taking control. That's how stupid these Democrats are. And they just keep going down the rabbit hole. And they don't know when to shut their mouths and sit back. You know what? They might gain some power, like me and my dad were talking about, if they tried working together than just opposing. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media and High Plains Radio, and we will be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying cough was stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking, drinking, drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on SHRmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its host, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm trying to make sense out of the senseless. Let's see, where are we? We're on to our last segment. Unfortunately, Mondays for now. Actually, this is the last Monday because Friday's the last day of school for my daughter. So I got to leave early today because of I got to go pick her up. Oh, she's a little unhappy this morning. We overslept. We really overslept by accident, and yeah, it didn't. It wasn't meant to, but the bad part is this week is the final week for her school, so she has finals this week. And today, they go certain periods, have certain finals, and her first final was first period today. So, of course, today's the day that we're late. And what usually happens is my wife gets up, drives my daughter to school, but because she was running late, I got up, drove her to school. I haven't gone to sleep yet. I'm going to be pretty tired. But I drove in, dropped her off. I went in and talked to the teachers real quick, and they said, nah, no problem. She'll get to take her final. We'll work it out. So she'll be bitching at me when I pick her up. Dad. Oh. Going through some news, see if there's anything big coming up. Hold on. It's weird out there. Trump's in the Middle East right now. And he gave a great speech in Saudi Arabia. I think he mentioned Islamic terrorism like 30 times. Unlike Obama, who attempted to appease Islamic resentment of the West by admitting America's fault First difference between the two speeches was setting. Trump addressed a summit of Arab and Muslim leaders at a conference to deal with terrorism. Obama, by contrast, invited members of the Muslim Brotherhood to his address at a university in Cairo. Now, what I'm also hearing is there are some that are sitting back going, even the liberals that are going, this isn't the candidate that we heard about. Because it's not an attack on Muslim, it's talking about the terror. And he clarified it during his speeches. He clarified it. But no one wanted to discuss that. He clarified that he wasn't talking about the Muslim religion as a whole. He clarified that it was this group that is attacking us. And that's what he talked about in this speech, and that's what he pointed to. He talked about how Saudi has to stop helping these people, how they have to stop financing certain groups. But there's two passages in this article that I really want to talk about. And it talks about, in contrast, Trump told the gathering in Saudi Arabia to drive them terrorists out from your places of worship and extort the nations present to make sure terrorists find no sanctuary on their soil. Obama defended Americans to the Muslim world by emphasizing America's connection to Islam, almost describing the U.S. as a Muslim nation itself. Quote, "Let there be no doubt Islam is part of America," Obama declared. He cited exaggerated population figures for Muslims in the United States. Quote, "Nearly 7 million American Muslims in our country today," he claimed. Trump, in contrast, praised the achievements of the Arab and Muslim world in the region itself, but did not try to remake America in Islam's image. Trump also spoke in a forthright manner about prosecution of Jews, whereas Obama irritated Israelis by claiming Israel was created because of the Holocaust. Two speeches, two different takes, two different views. Now, even some of the left have spoke at least neutral about the speeches. That's one step to calming things down. If we can get the media to actually report neutrally, I don't want them to kiss Trump's ass. I don't want them to prop Trump up. I want the mainstream media to report the news. No opinions, no slants, no nothing. Just report the news on what's going on and leave it at that. Let the people decide. But they give too many of their own personal opinions on it. And I know, I do too. I'm not news. I'm a political talk. I give my opinions. I give my views. I try to give the views of the everyday Joe Schmoes, excuse the pun, that are out in the world. The everyday, as they put it, uneducated. I did some college. I didn't graduate from college. Doesn't mean my point of view is invalid. Doesn't mean I know less. Means I knew how to save some money instead of wasting it. I try to put my message out there that I know there's a lot that feel the same way. And I hear it all the time because a lot of them feel that they are by themselves because that's what the media does. They put the pressure on to make people feel that they're by themselves in their opposing view to the mainstream media and liberal message when they're not. And I try to tell so many, you're not alone. I believe there's more of us, the way we feel, than there are of those. If they would have called and reported neutrally on the election, Trump's numbers, not only would he win like he did, he would have won by even larger numbers. So many people were brainwashed into thinking he was a racist and so many other isms. He was accused of a lot of things. Hillary's reporting was very shallow on her negatives. MSNBC, CNN, NBC, ABC, CBS, all of them pretty much ignored her emails, ignored her email server issue, ignored Benghazi. If they actually reported neutrally on what was going on and gave equal voices to the opposing view, she would have lost by even larger numbers, massive numbers. And that's all I ask of the media. Report the news. Don't be a part of the news. That's why you're going the way of a dodo bird. You're going towards extinction. Oh, where are we? It's sorry for that rant. I'm just, there's so many people, and that's why I do this show, because you're not alone. And I know a lot of you are not, they kind of get pushed off because of these talk shows that like to talk above you, whereas I try to talk with you. I'm no better. I'm no worse. But so many shows, they try to talk above you to show how smart they are. And that's what I am against. I'm here to talk with you. Oh, God. It's almost that time for today. I feel bad I got to leave early, but family first. This is the last Monday until the show switches over, so that ain't that bad. I'm going to have my daughter here. Oh, I love it. She's leaving for her grandparents, I think the first week in July, though. So she'll be going up to the Poconos for a month. I'll lose my daughter for a month. And she's going up to visit her grandparents, which is great. I have no issue with that. Just, I'll miss her. I'll miss my daughter. I love having the little shit around. You know, she always, how's your back, Dad? She's more worried about me sometimes than she is about herself. And I try to tell her not to. I'm a big boy. I can take care of myself. She never listens. So again, the big news is Reaver of Common Sense is going to be moving. We are going to be moving to the 9 p.m. slot to 11 p.m. I'll be opening the SHR nights Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. BZ shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And one of these days, I'll get the correct name of the show. Bovulating Zeppelin Bobcat Saloon. Too many tongue-tied. And on Wednesday, I'll be opening up for the Sackheads. That right there, for both those shows, I'm honored to be on before them. And, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Kel. I think she'll do good on her exams. What's funny is the last couple of years, we've been playing catch-up because of her speech impediment. And her grades were not always the greatest. And it also had to do with Common Core because there was such a rigid way of grading. Teachers kept telling us, ignore the grades, ignore the grades. She's doing great. She's doing great. Now she goes into middle school and Common Core is pretty much out of Florida. and she's running mostly A's. She hit 2 marking periods, high honor roll. And I'm just floored. She's done great all year. I think she missed high honor roll the first marking period by 1 grade. She got a C in one of her classes, but she's been running A's, and me and my wife been looking like, where the hell did this come from? So it's the first time she's having like finals. So, and she's not nervous. That's amazed me. She was not nervous. So, go pick her up, see how she's doing. And hopefully she did good on her first exam. And with that, that's going to be the end of the show, people. I'll be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Have a great day. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.